Cheers, everybody. Welcome back once again. This is Good Bets, Good Times. I am Nate with NT Sports, and this is episode 6, our Big 12 conference preview. And this one I am pretty excited about. I've been spending the past week doing quite a bit of research into the Big 12, and let me tell you, still have no idea what's going to happen in this league this year. Let's just be honest. We'll dive into the top contenders, and really, there's out of the 16 teams, we can go into pretty much build a case for almost all of them. Maybe not West Virginia, but we'll get into that. But yeah, like always, last week we talked about the ACC preview, dove into our contenders there. Got one bet down so far. Virginia Tech, go Hokies, over 6.5 wins. Nothing else from the ACC quite yet. Big 12 still same. No bets have been locked in. Still evaluating a few things, which we'll talk about. There's going to be a little bit of parity once again. I don't think the Big 12 has had a back-to-back conference champ since Oklahoma in 2020. Obviously, they're not in the conference anymore, and since then, it's been a different team every single year who's stepped up, and some surprises. Last year, Arizona State going worst to first, almost winning a playoff game. They're obviously the favorites this year, but there's some really good teams in this conference, top to bottom. Some new coaches, some exciting changes throughout the league. It's going to be a fun one. This is probably going to be got obviously Big Ten and SEC still left to do, which I will enjoy. But I think out of all my conference previews, Big 12 takes the cake. This is chaos. I love it. But man, what's going on in the sports news? This past week, we just entered in July. It is July 1st. We don't have much going on in terms of the major sports. Baseball season. About 2 weeks or so to the All-Star break. Still casually following baseball. Sadly, as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, it hasn't been a great year for me, once again, as usual. But hey, we've won 5 in a row. Don't let the Bucks get hot, man. Can make a run. I think they're still like 11 games out of the wild card race, so got a lot of ground to make up, but it gives me something to watch until football kicks off. I appreciate that. And also in Pirates news, Dave Parker passed away, legend, World Series champion from the 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates team. And literally, obviously I was not around in the 70s, as some of you who may be listening to this may not have been as well, and unless you're a diehard Pittsburgh Pirates fan, you may not even know who Dave Parker is, but he was outstanding. Definitely a legend of the game. Actually, was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. Its induction ceremony is in the end of this month. But look at this resume, man. 1978 MVP, 7-time All-Star, All-Star Game MVP in 1979. Obviously won the World Series with the Pirates in 1979. Back-to-back batting titles in 77 and 78. Also, fun fact, he got traded to Cincinnati or went to Cincinnati in the 80s, and 85 was the first ever All-Star Game Home Run Derby champion. This guy, man. Do a quick Google search of Dave Parker. One of my favorite all-time photos. Dave Parker sitting in the dugout. The 1979 We Are Family Pirates. Just sitting there in the all-yellow uniforms, pinstripe hats, smoking a cigarette. It's a different era. Love it. But RIP Dave. In other news, we got football news too. Speaking of Pittsburgh, I don't want to sit here and just be Mr. Homer talking Pittsburgh sports in this podcast. This is not what this is about. We will get into some Big 12 college football as well. But I got to mention the trades. Steelers making noise. We talked about Aaron Rodgers a few weeks ago, DK Metcalf. back in March or April. And they're still making moves, just traded for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. What is going on in Pittsburgh? Sounds like they're loading up, trying to create this super team. The super team of aged 30-plus-year-old veteran, possibly past their prime, great players. But we'll see how it all works out. I'm optimistic, obviously, as a fan of the Steelers and as just a football watcher. It's going to be fun, and it's going to go one or two directions. Either they're going to end the season as a legit contender, or it's going to be a fucking disaster. This is all going to blow up. There's a lot of personalities on this team now. But they got another offensive weapon for Aaron Rodgers. Arthur Smith loves his tight ends. Aaron Rodgers mentioned this is probably his last season. So this is the old last ride for A-Rod. Can he get it done? Can he bring another ring to Pittsburgh? We will see. It'd be a fun season. Outside of that, not much going on in the NFL this week. I know in my neck of the woods in Ohio, the Browns announced their new indoor domed stadium, which I have mixed feelings about. Totally get what a big indoor, beautiful stadium like that can do to the local area, not only for football, but just the number of events that you can hold. Look at what Detroit's doing in Indianapolis. These other Midwestern cities with these dome stadiums. Massive concerts, massive events. But at the same time, man, this is AFC North football, man. We play football outside. So I'm not a fan of this as a football fan, but as an Ohioan, I totally understand, totally get it. Just, man, it's sad. Sad day. You remember that Steelers-Browns snow game last year. I'm going to miss that. And outside of that, I mean, outside of uniform debates, I see a lot of tweets lately about uniforms. Who has the best red, white, black, green college uniforms, man? I don't know. We're bored. Talk about anything at this point. We got football end of the month. Hall of Fame games on the 31st, so we are officially in the home stretch here, leading up to the preseason. Still a lot of prep to do. Got a few more college football episodes to do, and then we're getting right back into NFL. Might mix and match too. I know I've been doing one episode a week so far, but I might have to kick it up here pretty soon. We might start doing 2 episodes. And last but not least, 4th of July is this week, and we always look forward to one thing on the 4th of July, and that is the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And Joey Chestnut is back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, after a 1-year hiatus, he is back to take his crown. The GOAT, the Glizzy God, Joey Chestnut. And I'm sure you're wondering, what are the odds? Well, Joey Chestnut is a massive favorite in this thing. And look around, I'm not 100% sure of what states or where you can actually bet on the hot dog eating contest, but I know you can do it. There are odds out there. So look into it if you want to have a little fun on the 4th of July. I'm probably not going to want to bet Joey Chestnut. He's minus 2,500 is what I saw. So kind of the obvious favorite to take home the crown as the 2025 Nathan's hot dog eating champion. But hey, look at the over-under. Over-under is 71.5. We're looking at minus 140 right now. I believe the record is 75 that he set a few years ago. And actually, last year he had a non-sanctioned showdown on Netflix versus Kobayashi. Put down 82 dogs. Yeah. So, man, that wasn't the official hot dog eating contest. So I don't know if there are different rules or different regulations there. I don't know what inspired him or what motivated him to put down 82 other than just going head-to-head against Kobayashi. But How do we not take the over here? 71.5? I mean, this guy's coming back to make a statement, right? He wants to let the world know. Don't forget about Joey Chestnut. I'm still the GOAT. I'm still here. I mean, this is like MJ in the 90s. Took a year off, came back, won three straight championships. This is what Joey's about to do. So, I mean, look at the over 71.5 if you can find it. Minus 140. A little juiced up. That may go up. People are going to bet the over. This may hit 72, 73. This line's going to move. So, hey, folks, if you're listening to this, jump on it. If you're in a state where you can bet on the hot dog eating contest, get down on that over 71.5. I have nothing to justify that with other than this man's going to eat some dogs in record-setting fashion. He might go for the 76. He might break his own record. We'll see. But moving on from hot dogs into some Big 12 football. And like I said when I started this, man, like Big 12 is fun. It's fun. I love reading about these teams. I love just trying to figure this out. Like, who is going to be that team this year? Look back at last season. Utah and Kansas State were both the favorites. I think Utah was the number one favorite come season time and didn't even make a bowl game. Had some injury issues throughout the year, especially with quarterback Cam Rising, and really collapsed down the stretch. But Arizona State, they were like 100-1 to win this conference last year, picked by the media to finish dead last, 16th in the conference. And they go off and win the whole damn thing and almost win a playoff game. Should have won a playoff game. They were the surprise team, the sleeper team. Not this year. They are the favorite, as they should be, heading into this year. They are plus 575 right now is the consensus line. I think that's the best you get. Oh, it might be able to get a plus 600 out there if you're liking Arizona State. But they do bring back their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, sophomore QB. Played excellent last year. Could be a Heisman contender if he shows up again this year. O-line is experienced and deep. He's got his number one target back, Jordan Tyson. And they went to the portal and they loaded back up on defense. So Kenny Dillingham, he comes in this should be his third season. 11-3 last year, 7-2 in the conference. Really lost two conference games, one at Texas Tech early in the year, and then lost to Cincinnati at Cincinnati, but I think Leavitt was out that game. So really, they rolled through this conference. Handful of close games. I believe they were 6-1 in one-score games last year. Handful of those came in the conference. Beat Kansas by 4, UCF by 4, BYU by 5. Some early non-con games against Mississippi State and Texas State were fairly close. But they showed up in the Big 12 championship and just rolled Iowa State. And to be honest, I had a tough time believing this team late down the stretch. I thought this was a team that surprised early on. I faded them the past couple weeks and got burnt big time. Faded them against BYU end of the year. Faded them against Iowa State in the championship game. Yeah, then they burnt me. I did bet them against Texas in the playoffs. They fought hard there and probably should have won that game. But I do like Arizona State. It's just, man, the schedule is tough. This is not a schedule that you can just roll through and easily repeat again, especially when you're not the surprise team anymore. It should be a really good season. They should be in contention the whole way throughout the season. And the end of their schedule is actually pretty solid. They start off with Northern Arizona at home. They got to go to Mississippi State, which should be a win, but you never know with that Mississippi State team. They're still rebuilding down there. Texas State, they do got to go to Baylor. I think that might be a loss. TCU, got to go to Utah, got to go to Iowa State. They do get Texas Tech at home, and they get a bye, and they finish up the year at West Virginia, Colorado, and Arizona. So I would not be surprised if they're back in the title game this year. I see a couple of these three road games here. At Baylor, at Utah, at Iowa State. All contenders, along with Texas Tech sandwiched in there as well. That's a tough tough stretch of games, and TCU at home. So I mean, they got a tough road. We're gonna find out if this was a one-year wonder, or I firmly believe Kenny Dillingham in this team are legit, and he's building something here. He's an Arizona State lifer, and it's gonna be fun watching the Sun Devils again this year. Then we got a bunch of teams that are fairly close together in odds here. If we look through, we got Utah, Kansas State, and Texas Tech, and then also Baylor kind of sneaking in there, rounding out the top 5 preseason favorites so far. Utah's going to be back. They had a down year last year. Very unusual season for Kyle Whittingham in Utah. Whittingham comes back for his 21st season leading this team. And they're contenders once again. Like I said, they were favorites to win the conference last year. Had some injuries. Lost 7 straight games to end the season. Finished 5-7. Didn't make a bowl game. A lot of that was due to Cam Rising getting hurt once again. The 6th, 7th, 8th year senior. I don't know how long he was in college, but it was a long time. But they went to the portal. They went down to New Mexico. They brought in dual threat QB Devin Dampier from New Mexico. And they also brought along his offensive coordinator, Jason Beck from New Mexico. And they do have one of the best offensive lines in the country. So, yeah, be ready for Utah to bounce back. Can they win this championship? I don't know, but they're going to be competitive. At plus 600, they're the second preseason favorite. Looks like they range anywhere from plus 500. I'm seeing a plus 650 too. So I do like the Utes to bounce back this year. Their schedule is it's not too bad. They do start the season off at UCLA. That could be a win, but we'll see how Deshaun Foster and that crew, bringing in Nico, Cal Poly, Wyoming. They got Texas Tech, go to WVU, which is never going to be easy. Should be a win, though. They got to play Arizona State, BYU. We know quarterback situation there is up in the air. So big rivalry game, so you never know there. Colorado, Cincinnati. They go to Baylor, play Kansas State at home, and then finish the year at Kansas. So, I mean, at minimum, I'm seeing 7 wins. And their win total sitting at 7.5, juiced up to minus 135. I have it at 7.4. We'll see if that gets adjusted over the next few months. But yeah, I think that line's spot on. This could be a team that would not surprise me if they were in the championship game and winning this thing and making a playoff run. Also, wouldn't surprise me if they just improve at the worst. 6-7 wins. Kansas State's another one. Another preseason favorite last year. Had a strong season, but they did falter down the stretch as well, losing 3 or 4 to end the year. They bring back a very dynamic quarterback in Avery Johnson, his second season as a starter. They do bring in a new offensive coordinator. And on the defense side of the ball, that's where it's going to be tricky. It's a solid defense last year, but the may take a step back with some of the losses. But looking at the Wildcats overall, this is a team I'm lukewarm on. They're plus 600. If you look around, let's see, plus 600, plus 425. There are some folks out there liking K-State, plus 550. Yeah, plus 600 is the best you can get. They're due for a bounce back season. We know Chris Kleiman is a great coach. If you look at the schedule, they do start off with a weird game. They got to go to Dublin, Ireland for a conference game. They got to play Iowa State. And what I believe this is week 0 on August 23rd. That's odd. You know, you do see these national games like this, but typically we don't see very many conference games, especially the first game of the season playing against one of your conference rivals, a really good team in Iowa State. So that one's going to be tricky. Don't know what to expect there. They got North Dakota and Army at Arizona, UCF. They got to go to Baylor and then TCU before their bye week. Got the rivalry game at Kansas. Got to play Texas Tech. Oklahoma State. Got to go to Utah and finish at Colorado. So this is another tough schedule here. They were 9-4 last year. 5-4 in the conference. I only returned 10 starters from that team last year. Their win total sitting at 8.5, which, man, that is steep. That is steep for me, given this schedule. Given that they do have to play the rival Kansas on the road, which is not going to be an easy game. They got to go to Baylor, back-to-back games in November against Oklahoma State and at Utah, plus this tricky Iowa State game. I mean, if they pull that game out and they go 1-0, I mean, they should start the season 5-0, 6-1, 7-1. I mean, clearly a path to 9 wins. I understand why that number is what it is, but I actually have an 8.7 wins with my projections, but the juice at -115, I don't think there's enough of an edge there, and definitely not confident in seeing K-State repeat it with 9 wins again this year. So that'll be a stay away from me. Kansas State will be back and competitive like usual. And then we got Texas Tech, which is a team, they went out and they went hard. They went hard and heavy in the portal. They're a very deep team, very experienced. Got a senior quarterback in Baron Morton. Got a new offensive coordinator coming in, Matt Leftwich. Led the Big 12 in scoring offense last year. Went 6-3 in conference. But last year really struggled on the road, man. Went and lost at Washington State early in the year. Lost at TCU. Did get a big win at Iowa State. But this year, they started the season off pretty strong. I mean, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, Oregon State. Then they go to Utah, which is going to be tough. They got to go to Houston. That's not going to be an easy win. Kansas, they got to go to Arizona State, Oklahoma State. They got to go to Kansas State. So that's 4 really tough conference road games. This is Joey McGuire's 4th year, and his teams are only 6-10 straight up on the road. Definitely they have the talent. They have the experience. Their win total sits at also 8.5. It is juicy under at -120, though. I do see a little bit of value in the under. I think this could be another 8-win team. But also, would not surprise me if they are in the championship game and pushing for a playoff berth, which is pretty much the storyline for every team I'm talking about here in the Big 12. But Texas Tech, another fun team. They do finish up the year with West Virginia on the road. Obviously, that's another tough game. So that's actually five difficult conference road games. So we'll see. We'll see if they can change that up and play well away from Lubbock and sneak into this Big 12 championship game. Then rounding out the top 5 favorites, we got Baylor at +750. Looks like consensus now is +700. I think since they've, there's no 750s out there anymore. That line is now incorrect. I see anywhere from +525, +650 to +700. They're getting some love. And actually, you know how I love my Phil Steele mag, my preseason college football preview magazine, my go-to, and he's got Baylor #1 team in the conference, and rightfully so. And they bring back experienced quarterback Sawyer Robinson. Took over a starter last year. Scored over 34 points per game. They'll be even better this year. They're returning 10 starters on the offensive side of the ball. Dave Aranda started off slow last year, definitely on the hot seat. His name was popping up as a guy who, if he didn't finish the season strong, then he may have been out down in Waco. But this team returns 18 starters. They're definitely a contender. Probably the best, if not, one of the top 2 or 3 full rosters in the Big 12. Schedule-wise, they have another tough one too. They had to play Auburn first game of the year. They got to go down the road to SMU, which that's not going to be an easy game. Sanford. Then they got to play Arizona State, at Oklahoma State, Kansas State. So, I mean, the first 6 games of the season, man, this team could easily be 3-3, 4-2. Then road games at TCU and Cincinnati, UCF at home, Utah at home. So down the stretch, not bad at Arizona and then Houston at home. So if they can get by with 4 or 5 wins in that first 6-game stretch going into the bye week, they're sitting good. This is an 8-5 team last year, 6-3 in the conference. And they won their last 6 games to end the year last year after starting off 2-4. Sawyer Robinson, I believe, started as of game 3, and then he was cooking down the stretch. They lost that Hail Mary overtime game to Colorado, which is pretty brutal. Then had BYU, Iowa State, and then just went on a heater. Went in 6 in a row to close out the season, finishing 8-5. So a lot of momentum on this team. I definitely see why they're a favorite. And I think that line's already moved. The 750 that I saw when I was putting this together 2 days ago is already gone. Some of that does have to do with the BYU situation. They dropped a ton. They were plus 800, I believe, down to plus 1,600 now with their QB no longer on the team. So some of these odds have jumped for some of the top contending teams over the past few days, Baylor being one of them. Their win total, though, sits at 7.5. I have it at 7. I do got to make some adjustments here because, like I said, I mean, I had BYU at 8.5 wins. And I'm going to have to downgrade them a little bit, upgrade some of these other teams. So then just looking through the rest of this conference, I went through and I was looking for who's that team, who's that dark horse team that could surprise some people and make a run. And there's a number of teams I could have looped in here. I mean, we didn't even talk about TCU, who's plus 900 right now. TCU is going to be good. Kansas and Lance Leipold, and bringing back Jalen Daniels for what he's a senior this year, his 4th year. They're going to be a tough out. Iowa State, obviously, they're one that surprises me, sitting down at plus 1,200. Team that was an 11-win team last year. They did get routed in the Big 12 championship game by Arizona State, but would not surprise me with Rocco Beck coming back. You know, Matt Campbell will always have his squad ready. BYU dropped a ton. We'll see what their quarterback situation is. We got Dion in Colorado. They brought in a quarterback from Liberty, Kalen Salter, veteran quarterback, guy with some experience. So this was a 90-win team unit last year. Obviously, they lost a couple of their superstars, but still a solid team. Should be a bowl team. And then we get down to Cincinnati, anywhere from plus 3,000 to plus 3,500. And this is a team that I'm eyeing up. Win total's a 6.5. Is a juicy under at minus 130 right now. I have them at 6 wins. This was a 5-win team last year. Team that definitely underachieved in Scott Satterfield's 3rd season since he came over from Louisville. But I have the Bearcats as my dark horse this year. I think this team can make some noise. They're a very deep team, veteran team. Went to the portal, added a few key pieces on the defensive side of the ball. This team had to rebuild. They were a playoff team. Lost Luke Fickell. Brought in Satterfield to rebuild this thing. And let's say he's struggled the first 2 years. This is a team on the rise. They bring back their junior quarterback, dual threat, Brennan Sorsby. This will be his 2nd season as the starter on this offense. And schedule-wise, not bad. I mean, we look at Cincinnati's schedule here. I mean, they're non-con. They got to play Nebraska. It's a neutral in Kansas City to open the season up. That's going to be a tough one. Then they get Bowling Green, Northwestern State before a bye. Got to go to Kansas. They do get Iowa State at home, UCF, Oklahoma State, Baylor at home, at Utah, Arizona, BYU, TCU. With the BYU news, they get them at home, traveling out east. They do get Arizona at home. Utah, obviously, traveling out to Utah is going to be tough. Oklahoma State, that's a winnable game. So I just looking at the schedule, looking at who they bring back, just kind of giving Scott Satterfield the benefit of the doubt and what he's done and his tenure at App State, Louisville, kind of mediocre at Louisville. Still had quite a few winning seasons. But this was a 3-win team in 2023, 5-win team last year, lost a couple close ones, blew a huge lead against Pitt, lost by 1, lost to Tech by 3 at Tech, and then down the stretch, lost their last 5 games and weren't really competitive. So I think the schedule is a lot more favorable. I definitely think this will be an improved team. This will be a bowl team, and it's at plus 3,000 or plus 3,500 if you can find it. Outside of that, rounding out the conference, Houston and old Willie Fritz. This is what, his second season out here in Houston. They were 4-8 team last year. Their win total sits at 6.5, so that one definitely is juiced to the under. I think there's still some value. I'm going to 5.5 wins. They're going to be a feisty team. They're going to be a fun team, but don't believe Houston is a serious contender this year. They will improve. I think they got a good shot to make a bowl game, going from 4 wins to 6 wins in Willie Fritz's second year. We look at UCF. They got Scott Frost back. Gus Malzahn went off to be the offensive coordinator, I believe, at Florida State. So Scott Frost comes back. The legendary UCF coach took them to their undefeated season before we left for Nebraska. I think he's got a little bit of rebuilding to do here. They're sitting at plus 5,000 to win the conference. They got 5.5 is their win total. That is juiced up minus 140 to the over. I have them at 6.2 wins. And looking at the schedule, I mean, they're non-con, Jack State, North Carolina A&T. They play Bill Belichick in the Tar Heels. Then they go to Kansas State, Kansas, at Cincinnati, West Virginia. Got to go to Baylor, to Texas Tech, BYU. So 5.5 wins is that's one of these conference Big 12 conference win totals that I am taking a hard look at. It is expensive at minus 140. I think after a 4-8, 2-7 year, I don't know if I can get there. Just not knowing fully what this team's going to look like. They have a lot of new players, so I think the variance on this team is pretty high. But their schedule isn't terrible. I think they can get to, 6 wins. Could be a bowl team. Like I said, most of the teams in this conference, I can make a case for getting to 6 wins in a bowl game. And then next up, even Oklahoma State, they had a very down year last year. But this is Mike Gundy's 21st season in this conference. They only won 3 games last year. That is very un-Oklahoma State Mike Gundy-like. After a 10-win season in 2023, have a losing season. I'll have to look this up. I don't know when the last time Oklahoma State's had a 3-win season, went 0-9 in conference. And their win total is at 4.5, and this is one I really like, and I may be pouncing on. I'm at 5.3 wins. And schedule is, schedule's not terrible. UT Martin, they got to go to Oregon. Probably a loss, get an early bye week. Tulsa, get Baylor at home, at Arizona, Houston at home, Cincinnati at home, go to Tech, at Kansas, Kansas State at home. They got to go to UCF and Iowa State. So they play 4 of the top contenders in the Big 12, plus at Oregon. So yeah, tough schedule, but 4.5 wins. This can be easily a 5-win team. It is expensive though. This one, I think the market agrees here that 4.5 is a little low. This is priced up to minus 170 at this point. So we'll see if I can justify that price. Right now, I still am seeing a little bit of an edge there, actually. My odds have this at about minus 190. So there's a little bit of value there still. And I just have a hard time believing Mike Gundy. And could he be on the hot seat after 21 seasons? Could be. Go from 10 wins to 3. He's got to get to a bowl game this year. He's got to get this team back. Or they might be looking elsewhere. Might be time for a change in Stillwater. Last but not least, actually 2 teams left. West Virginia. They bring back old Rich Rod. The glory days of the 2000s before he moved on to Michigan and that failure. But he rebuilt himself at Jacksonville State. Their win totals at 5.5. I have them at 5.1 wins. Also, another team I really don't want to touch just because of the rebuild. And I think Rich Rod can turn this team back around. I mean, they were a 6-win team last year, went 5-4 in the conference. And also another team that, you can make a case for, could win 6 games and be right back in a bowl game. I mean, their non-con's not that difficult. Robert Morris, OU, Ohio, get the rivalry, the Pitt rivalry game at home. Play Kansas at Kansas, Utah at BYU. Travel out to BYU, UCF, TCU, Houston, Colorado, Arizona State, and Texas Tech. So 5.5, yeah, once again, probably staying away from this one. And then last but not least, Arizona. I don't know what to make of this team. 4 wins last year, 2-7 in conference. This is Brett Brennan's second year as head coach here. Look for this team to improve. I mean, I think they can be better than 4 wins. Win total's at 4.5. Over is at -160. So also another one. Really, the win totals on this conference, the bottom half of this conference. I'm gonna look at UCF, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, and Arizona. All value on the over win totals right now, and that just goes to show just how wild and wacky this conference can be. So 4.5 wins also seeing a little bit of value there. I'm at 5.1 wins. Their schedule's tough though. I mean, they got Kansas State, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and BYU at home, both winnable games. At Houston, winnable game. At Colorado, tough one. Kansas, Cincinnati. And they finish up the year with Baylor and at Arizona State, their rival. Bring back 16 starters from the team last year. Get their quarterback back, junior Noah Fafita. Will not have his number 1 target in Tate McMillan this year. Bringing in a new OC and a new DC. So yeah, Arizona's a team on the rise. I don't think this team has the talent to do what Arizona State did last year, go from last to first, but over 4.5 win totals looking pretty solid in my opinion. So to wrap it up, this is a good conference, man. This is going to be fun. I look down the line here at all these teams, and there's not one that I don't believe can win 6 games and at least be a bowl, and then another handful, 7, 8, 9 teams who would not surprise me if they were sitting at the end of the year in the Big 12 championship, pushing for a playoff berth. So the wild and wacky Big 12 is back. It's going to be highly entertaining. I'm looking forward to this. But that wraps up the pod. Got the Big 10 coming next week, which I'm pretty pumped about. I'll finish up with the SEC, and then we'll dive into the Group of 5 and Independence. Highlight some teams there. But also going to start sprinkling in some NFL here over the next few weeks. And then, man, by August, preseason kicks off, training camp kicks off for the NFL, and we're going to be looking at early week one lines, week 0 lines in college football, and finalizing our futures portfolio. And so, yeah, like always, if you like the podcast, please engage, connect with us online. Leave us a comment on the podcast if you like what you hear, or if you disagree, or just want to provide some feedback, or if you think I'm full of shit. All good. Let me know. Happy to hear it. You can find us on Instagram and X at NTSports22. TikTok, we post some podcast clips. YouTube, we post some podcast clips. Got the website. If you are newer to sports betting and you still want to, or you're just somebody who's been betting for a few years and just wants to brush up on the fundamentals, check out ntsports.win, and the playbook's right there, free, ready to download. Take a look at that. But that does it, folks. Everyone enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Have the next pod dropping about the same time next week. And with that being said, cheers, everybody.